Hello everyone, I'm Brazen Eagle and thank you for joining me here. So today from Heavy.com, Andy No attacked 5 fast facts you need to know. And before I really get into this, I'm just going to say I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce the guy's last name. I've heard of him before, I think, but I think it's No. Anyway, and this was published on, or updated, June 29th, 2019. Andy No is a Quillette editor who says he was assaulted by Antifa members during a rally in Portland, Oregon. Well, go figure, it's Oregon. On June 29th, left-wing activists, I would say far left-wing activists, descended on Pioneer Courthouse Square in the city to counter-protest a Proud Boy rally named Him Too, which is due to take place at 1 p.m. No began tweeting about his assault prior to the actual start of the rally, as he says he was recognized by some counter-protesters. I wonder who the counter-protesters could be. That rally was being opposed by Rose City, Antifa, and the Democratic Socialists of America of Portland. Reports KPTV. The event happened nearly 1 year to the day of a similar event in downtown Portland. Here's what you need to know. Number 1. No says that Antifa members stole his camera equipment and beat his head multiple times. Let's see. Audrey Weil now filling 3rd Avenue and turning onto Jefferson, completely blocking the street. Well, that's always good for traffic. In a tweet on the afternoon of the attack, No said, attacked by Antifa, bleeding. They stole my camera equipment, no police until after. Waiting for ambulance. If you have evidence of attack, please help. In a subsequent message, No said he was beat on face and head multiple times. He described his assailants as being at large. Well, it's Antifa, what do you expect? No also posted multiple videos showing his condition in the immediate aftermath of the attack. Those videos show No with cuts and bruising on his face. In one of the videos, No says, I just got beat up by the crowd, no police at all, in the middle of the street, and they stole my GoPro, and they punched me several times in my face and head, and I'm bleeding. Number 2. No says his Twitter bio that he is hated by Antifa. According to Jim Ryan, who I know absolutely nothing about, the left-wing demonstrators easily number in the hundreds, marching again south on Southwest 3rd. First skirmish I've seen, didn't see how this started, but Mr. Andy No got roughed up. He needs to carry a gun or something. Anyways, on his Twitter bio, No says he is hated by Antifa. No is a resident of Portland and frequently writes about the Antifa movement. During one video recording of the June 29th protest, one woman can be heard saying, F you, Andy. On May 7th, No posted a video to Twitter showing a man he said had assaulted him at his gym. The night before the June 29th assault, No tweeted that he was nervous about the rally as he posted a screenshot of an Antifa blog that singled No out as the group promised a physical confrontation. Whew. Looks like the police aren't doing anything right there either. No tweeted, was just assaulted and had my phone stolen at 24-Hour Fitness, Hollywood, Portland by someone I recognized at Antifa rallies. He first dumped liquid on me and then stole my phone. Reporting to @Portland Police. I don't know his identity and the gym wouldn't tell me, so they're aiding and abetting in theft or robbery. They got my phone back though. Okay, so at least he got his phone back, but still. You gotta report this to the police, Jim. Come on. Quillette, the outlet that No primarily works for, has been described by the Daily Beast as a site that fancies itself intellectually contrarian, but mostly publishes right-wing talking points couched in grievance politics. Number 3. The Portland Police Department said victims had been hit with quick-drying cement. Jesus. Following the assault suffered by No, the Portland Police Department said in a statement, police have received information that some of the milkshakes thrown today during the demonstration contained quick-drying cement. We are encouraging anyone hit with the substance today to report it to the police. The police don't care. The Oregonian reports that the protest ended just before 5:30 p.m. One of the Oregonian's photographers, Dave Killen, tweeted that the last of the right-wing group was gone before 7:30 p.m. local time. An intern with the newspaper said that she heard members of the crowd say at around 7 p.m., who is who? Where are the Nazis? To which someone replied, they went home. They took Ubers. Wow. Number 4. A GoFundMe page to help No has raised over $25,000 at the time of writing. A GoFundMe page titled Protect Andy No was started as news spread of the assault he suffered. At the time of writing, the page raised close to $27,000, which, if I can find it, I will link in the description below. The goal of the page is $50,000. The page has been endorsed on Twitter by far-right activists Hardemeet K. Dillon. I've never heard of that person ever. While it was set up by another far-right activist, Michelle Malkin, who refers to herself as Ngo's friend in the blurb for fundraising page. Malkin also wrote that in the past, Ngo has been singled out, doxxed, targeted by SJW thugs while police stands by and do nothing. I don't really know that much about Michelle Malkin, but I really don't think she's far-right, so that really tells you about the bias that Heavy has. Anyways, number 5, the Portland event was set up by far-right activist Haley Adams. I don't think that this is actually really far-right. I'm not going to lie here. I know absolutely nothing about this. I guess she's a blonde girl. I guess this is Haley Adams. The Him Too event, which was the event that everyone went to apparently, was set up by activist Haley Adams, who goes by the monikers Rebel Barbie and Divas for Trump on Facebook. In a statement on her Facebook page regarding the June 29th events, Adams said that her event had been a success and that they had a peaceful event. Adams had earlier reposted Ngo's photos showing his injuries. In the caption, Adams wrote, "Stand against domestic terrorism." Adams wrote that members of Antifa had attacked our policemen, journalists, and innocent citizens of Portland. Adams then said that Portland's mayor, Ted Wheeler, would ignore the crisis. On her Facebook bio, Adams says that she lives in the cesspool of Portland, Oregon. Before I even really begin, Him Too isn't even really far right. I mean, it really isn't. But anyways, overall, I really do feel bad for Andy Ngo. I mean, this should have never happened. But then again, it is Oregon. And within the state of Oregon, the state governor of Oregon, actually, has called for the police, the Oregon police, to hunt down the fleeing Republican senators literally at gunpoint. But, yep, it's Oregon. What do you expect? The police did nothing to help Andy Ngo, or Andy here. They didn't help stop the violence at all, and have shown that, you know what? If Antifa or Democratic Socialists decide to riot, so be it. We're not going to get in the middle of it. Yeah, screw it. People get hurt. Who cares? The police, though, here's the thing. In Oregon, the police would rather hunt down Republicans than to stop violence from Antifa. This is one hell of a clown world we live in. That's insane. Look, that shouldn't happen. But you know what? It's 2019, right? Apparently, there were hundreds of left-wing demonstrators in the streets, I guess, in Portland, Oregon today, which included Antifa as well as the Democratic Socialists of America of Portland. Gotta love our far leftists. According to Heavy, though, this happened barely a year after to a similar event that happened, of course, in 2018. It's interesting to note that this was actually an event for hashtag, or if you want to say hashtag, Him Too. Apparently, this Him Too movement is a movement against false rape allegations. Hashtag Him Too spread virally in October 2018 after a tweet from a mother about her son being afraid to date because of a climate of false rape allegations. It rose to greater prominence during the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, and those were one hell of a hearing, or hearings. The hashtag Him Too movement is seen as a response to the sexual assault allegations from the Me Too movement. Whew. Many men, of course, are literally falsely accused of being a rapist without evidence, and this is just more blowback to, I guess, what you could call the Pound Me Too movement. And you know what? Communists and socialists are protesting this event. They said, "Oh no, let men get falsely accused of rape. It's okay. Tear down men." That's literally what the Antifa and the Democratic Socialists are saying, or punching people over in this event, or this riot, basically. Now, this article also states that people were hit with quick drying cement within milkshakes. Now, I don't remember exactly who, but this was starting to be a thing, throwing milkshakes at people. I think in the UK, I forget who it was. It might have been Nigel Farage, where some relatively right-wing politician was hit with a milkshake during elections in the UK. But Antifa's adapting. They're throwing quick drying cement in the milkshakes? I mean, come on. This is absolutely nuts. And yet, Antifa and the Democratic Socialists are totally allowed to get away with this. Violence is absolutely okay if it is coming from leftists and communists. Because the police aren't doing anything about this. If they did, they'd crack down on Antifa for violence. What happened to having peaceful protests instead of having violent protests? Now, like I said, it is Oregon, go figure. Now, some people would call Antifa, or also known as anti-fascists, they would call that group fascism. They are not. They're absolutely not. Fascism, or fascists, generally require a hierarchy that puts people in their place. Within fascism, you have a role and you have a place. With Antifa, that's not quite exactly so. There is a general strict order in fascism. However, the anti-fascists, often known as Antifa, are what I would literally call communists. They are literally communists. When you hear of Antifa rallies or Antifa violence, they are organized literally to be unknown people. They have no individuality within the group. They are just merely what some would call NPCs. They are just people there. They have no race, they have no ethnicity, they have no individualism. They have nothing except for their ideology, and that's it. That is basically trying to fulfill the ideas of revolutionary communism, founded back in the days of Marx, as well as Lenin, as well as Trotsky. Not so much Stalin, but more Trotsky and Lenin. But like I've said, within the larger Antifa crowd, even mingling with democratic socialists, people are not individuals. They are merely part of a classless and stateless mob in which communism, in which case I brought up anarcho-communism, but communism advocates. Now, anarcho-communism is a form of communism, is a political philosophy and anarchist school of thought which advocates the abolition of the state, which Antifa likes, capitalism, which Antifa likes, wage labor, which Antifa also likes, and private property, which Antifa also wants to get rid of. All four of those, while retaining respect for personal property, along with collectively owned items, goods, and services, in favor of common ownership of the means of production, direct democracy. Direct democracy, that sounds like a democratic thing to say. Anyways, and a horizontal network of workers' councils with production and consumption based on the guiding principle, from each according to his ability, to each according to his need. Antifa, or the anti-fascists, are literal communists. Now, Antifa also practices insurrectionary anarchism, which is, according to Wikipedia, a revolutionary theory, practice, and tendency within the anarchist, could be anarcho-communist, but generally anarchist movement that emphasizes insurrection within anarchist practice. It is a critical form, it is critical of formal organizations such as labor unions and federations that are based on a political program and periodic congresses. Instead, much like Antifa, insurrectionary anarchists advocate informal organization and small affinity group-based organization. Insurrectionary anarchists put value in attack, permanent class conflict, and most importantly, a refusal to negotiate or compromise with class enemies. Antifa has a goal of tearing down everyone they don't like. They want a classless, stateless utopia. Antifa is literally the violent hand of the left. Yet, even though what I've said is absolutely true, I see no action taken from anyone else, especially the right. You think, oh, you have leftists on the political spectrum being violent, then you have the right on the political spectrum being violent, but I mean, maybe except for some mass shooters, like individual mass shooters that aren't really connected to anybody, there's no response. There's absolutely no response, it seems like. It seems to be that any right-wing group chooses not to act when Antifa gets violent. Not even the frickin' police get involved. They're there to protect private property. Not to protect individuals, but at least private property in which individuals hold. But you know what? I am so tired of the inaction of the right, or even the centrists, and watching our country die. I'm sick and tired of it. Nothing is getting done to save the country. Or at least, individually, states, or civilization as a whole. Someone has got to stop the violence coming from leftists, and communists, and of course Antifa. Because if no one stops them, Antifa and groups like that will only grow larger and more violent. Today, they're throwing milkshakes with cement. Tomorrow, they're probably going to be throwing Molotov cocktails. They did that, I think, back at the Seattle riots back in the day. And you know what? You can't stop violence with peace and love with a group of people that literally want you dead. There can be no compromise with a group that literally advocates no compromise. What are you going to do about it? But, with that in mind, thank you very much for watching. I'm Brazen Eagle, and I hope you have a great day.